So I have a question that was about my regression, and I wanted to tap into it here and kind of answer it. Someone says, I've been listening to your past life regression, which you got off my website. During your regression, you mentioned the law of one and the sons of Belial. What was the comment in reference to? You also mentioned something was coming sooner than you thought. My hearing is not that great, so I had a hard time interpreting parts of the regression. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Thank you, Nina. That is lovely of you to say. The sons of the law, it's the law of one and the sons of Belial. And I honestly have no understanding of it, of what that means. I have since found that in the Edgar Cayce writings. So I don't know whether, I was tapping into something he was tapping into or not. When I think of it from a perspective of creation and our divinity, I think they were just two other forms of dogma or religion that were struggling against each other. When, I have no idea. I do know that was a very interesting thing. The next thing that you ask is the thing that I really want to talk about in this, the question of something coming sooner than you thought. We live in a time right now where our consciousness is raising to such an amazing level. We are literally coming to this place, and I would call it the second coming, but it's not what most people have made the second coming out to be. It's not, Jesus riding on a cloud and coming through the east wall of Jerusalem and blah, 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 blah. It's none of that. There's a level of consciousness that we all have the ability to experience. And Jeshua, Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad, all tapped into that level of consciousness, all tapped into that higher conscious self, that Holy Spirit self. And 2,000 years ago, or when they walked the earth, they came to us with that awareness. What's happening right now is we are raising ourselves up to that awareness, and we're going to them. So before they came to us, now we're going to them. And so the interesting thing is, it says here, sooner than you know, or whatever it was the thing, something is coming sooner than you thought. When that regression was made, it was the year 2000. And I was at the very beginning of doing a speaking tour to talk about my past life, and it was not the time. People were very shallow, and they were so focused on the reincarnation aspect that they weren't hearing the teachings or the ideas or the they weren't learning anything, and they weren't changing their life. They weren't changing their world. And what's interesting right now, having come back to the work after all these years, it's completely different. The consciousness has risen so immensely. These conversations that we have on this channel, people talking about, this resonates with me. This sounds like truth to me. This is what I've thought for years. I get that all the time. I get those messages all the time. I feel so relieved that I'm hearing this because it feels like truth to me. I get those messages all the time. 15 years ago, nobody heard the message. Very few. Now everybody's hearing it. It is so profoundly different. And in that regression, I say it's coming sooner than you thought. It's coming right now. It's coming right now. That consciousness shift that I see between then and now is huge. And in the vast scheme of the world, 20 years is not a long time. 20 years is a blink in the vast scheme of the earth. And right now, we are in the midst of this raise in consciousness. That's why the world seems so chaotic right now, because the people who are not raising their consciousness are rebelling and yelling and screaming and hollering. And Socrates said, when the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. Well, that's the truth. They get loud. They call names. They make up things. They, big loser. They make up stuff, right? and call people names because they are not reasoning their consciousness. They're living in their fears and anxieties. And as they rebel, what happens is around them is these people going, oh, look at that. I don't want that. And then the other people are raising their consciousness as well. We are in a time, a beautiful time, the most magnificent time. It's the most wonderful time to be alive is to experience this shift that's happening right now. And in the days of old, the sons of Belial and the law of one, I have no idea what they were into. And I intuitively feel it's not important. I intuitively feel that they were just dogma and schools of thought, and we're not in a thought phase. We're in a feeling phase. We're in a sentient awareness phase, not a thinking phase and a knowledge phase. And both of those, I believe, were literally competing schools of thought. And I think that we are out of that. We are past that. And now is the time where we are awakening to our oneness with Source, to our oneness with God, and to our own divinity. And we are coming to do the greater works that Jeshua talked about. Greater works than I have done, you will do. Your faith will heal you. You know, it is for us to come to that space. And I think that's exactly where we are. And I think the time is sooner than we thought it was going to be. I think because we keep putting it off in the future. We kept putting the enlightenment off to the future. I think it's now, and I think it's sooner than you thought. So you have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.